Okay, so we're on to part 3, and part 2 you will have noticed we shot in my study. We had a moment of calm and quiet after lunch. The sun's come out this afternoon. This is Saturday over the Jubilee weekend, Saturday afternoon. Hopefully the sunshine will be shining for the celebrations outside Buckingham Palace. So it's going to be a good evening tonight to look forward to. And we've smashed out 3 clips today. Well, we haven't done this third one yet. And as I promised earlier on, I would just speak around the origin of 2 of my favourite recipes, which I'm very proud of. And I do want to tell you about their origins, and we'll kick off with this one, Bioshellfish, which after nearly 25 years is still my best-selling mix. It's a mix for warm water, but it works all year round, providing you don't use too much in the winter. It's an all year round bait, and it contains all those good things that we know carp love. There's about 16 ingredients in it, and the basis of it is an ingredient that I first brought into the UK back in the early 90s called CPSP90, which is hydrolyzed fish protein. It's a soluble fish protein. It's not packed with harsh fish meals. There is LT94 in there, and there is krill. And I was one of the first people again to use krill. That sounds a bit big-headed, doesn't it? But I'm actually quite proud of the fact that as a direct result of a couple of pals of mine in fishing, one of whom was, I've mentioned him before, but I'll say his name again because he's a great character, Brian Garner. He told me where to get the krill, bless his heart. So I had help. We all need help from time to time. Anyway, I devised Bioshellfish, which has got bird foods, yeasts, all sorts of interesting things in it, and it's the right vitamin and mineral profile too. I've actually started to improve a lot of my base mixes over time now, and I automatically put vitamin and mineral compound in the baits anyway. It's not going to do the fish any harm, and it's certainly going to do them a lot of good, and it makes the bait a better bait. So Bioshellfish, my favourite mix. We'll come on to taste in a minute, but I'll speak a bit more about Bioshellfish. When we were first using it, I brought out a shellfish flavour, which unfortunately is no longer available. And this is before I had the access to Ala Salar flavour. Anyway, around about that time I was able to get hold of the original plum flavour, which I've subsequently bought the international property rights and the recipe to secure its future. And I was mixing shellfish and plum together. Strangely enough, 2 or 3 people tried to copy that mix, but no one's ever been able to copy it. And I will say the same thing about Ala Salar. You'll notice on the new bottles of Ala Salar, which have been out for the last few months, the labels I mean, there's a little TM written above the R of the Ala Salar. And TM stands for trademark. And what I've actually done is, because some people have tried to copy it, both in Germany and in the UK, unsuccessfully I might add, that I've had to trademark the name, because it is pretty impossible to copy Ala Salar, and this flavour is only available from me. It's so pivotally important to me, I paid quite a bit of money to trademark it. So let's put that one to bed. As far as the bait is concerned, we found out that mixing, when I couldn't get the shellfish flavour, Ala Salar and plum together at very low level, it was absolutely an incredible combination. I can't really tell you why it's so good, but it works, and it really works wherever you use it, first time out with no pre-baiting, and that's the mark of a good bait. So I know the recipes off the top of my head, and I'm going to tell you the recipes right now. If you haven't tried this, give it a go. 6 eggs, 1 ml of plum or peach, so that's the new peach flavour, which is now available in 100 ml bottles. Well, they're about the same strength. Peach or plum, 1 ml to 6 eggs, and then 2 to 3 ml of Ala Salar. Optionally, you can put a little bit of salmon oil, just 10 ml, not a ridiculous amount, 10 ml. It helps the rolling, and in the warmer months of the year I recommend using salmon oil because the fish will derive some nutritional benefit from it. They need an oil content, but certainly not in the winter. And you can optionally, again, if you want, you can put some liquid shrimp extract in it or your favourite extract, but you don't need it, it's an option. And I would only put to 6 eggs, just 2 teaspoons, 10 ml. I used to use anchovy extract in that, but I don't buy that particular product anymore because it's become hideously expensive, and I think the shrimp is better. If you don't want to put too many ingredients in the bait, you know what? You don't need to put the shrimp in, just the alisalar, the peach, and the bit of salmon oil in the summer months. That's the bait. That's your free offerings. For hook baits, you only need, remembering again to use these 1 ml syringes, 0.5, that's 1/5 of 1 ml, to 1 large egg of plum or peach, and you can go up to 1 ml of alisalar. That's it, nothing else. And make your pop-ups, wafters or hook baits. I can guarantee that bait, presented right, will catch fish. That's a big thing to say, but I've told you I was going to give you my best recipe, and that's one of them. We're going to now move straight on to taste. And people talk about olfaction, smell, gustatory, all these technical terms. Basically, the taste of the bait is very important, and the taste is linked to smell. So there's a reason why we call taste. It used to be Taste Formula 1, and this is Taste Formula 2. And the reason that the Formula 2 is on there is because I managed to source a couple of new ingredients which are based on some new yeast products, which are derived mainly from the food industry. So let me tell you about the origin of using a new type of bait which contains no fish meals. So just to reiterate this, Taste F2 is a complete alternative recipe and does not contain fish meals. And I'm going to show you 2 products that were linked to its original idea. You've all seen these, Pringles, and you've all seen these, mini cheddars or cheddar biscuits. Crawford's do one, that's Jacob's mini cheddars, but Crawford's do the Crawford's biscuits. And I was sitting there on the bank one day with a friend, and we were enjoying a glass of wine, I think it was in France, and some cheesy biscuits. I think they were Crawford's cheddars. And I said to him, you know what, I'd love to get this taste, where you keep wanting to eat another one. I mean, the worst ones for it are these Pringles, although they're a bit too salty for bait, but you get the idea. And this pal of mine, he said to me, well, why don't you try and make a bait with some of the ingredients? I didn't say anything. I just thought quietly to myself, right, I'm going to do that. So I've spent the last 22 years developing and honing what you now see as Taste F2. And it's an instant bait, just like Bio. It's incredible, and it will carry a range of flavours. So you can use it for barbel with Sizz. You can use the aforementioned ASM when I made the bait earlier. It's fantastic with roast chicken. That's Topex, sorry. Similar colour label, there it is. Roast chicken. You can use it with Topex. So you can use the 2 together, alisalar and roast chicken, 1.5 ml of each to 6 eggs, and then 0.5 ml of each for 1 egg mix for hook baits. And the basis of this mix is the fact that I think the fish, in many respects, are similar to humans. We want to eat good food, but we also rather like eating food with a good taste. And we can't stop that umami, that 5th taste, where we've just got to have another one, which is why this packet of Pringles is empty. And In this mix, again, there's quite a lot of ingredients. I can't remember off the top of my head how many, but certainly all the ingredients that go into some of these snack foods, and you've heard me mention about I like to use the technology that goes into snack foods in my base mixes, and that technology goes across the range of the products that I use. So again, I've made all the mistakes in the past by using too stronger ingredients and mixing up too many different styles of ingredients within the same recipe. This is a milk protein mix derived from milk. So everything in it is derived from milk, with the exception of one key ingredient, which is, I will say what it is because it's that difficult to get hold of, and it's Argentinian beef liver powder. And a little bit of beef liver powder goes in there, together with 2 different prebiotic yeast powders, which I don't sell separately because they're so difficult to get hold of. I keep them in reserve for the base mixes. So when you use that in conjunction with the liquid version of the hydrolysates, the hydrolyzed yeast extracts, you've got a bait which is almost like a Pringle to a fish. It tastes very cheesy, creamy, savoury, so it goes wonderfully for barbel, wonderfully for carp. You can mix all sorts of different styles of flavour and additive to it. And if you're thinking about what bait to go on for this summer, June the 16th is round the corner, and you want to hit the big rivers, the Trent, the Severn, the Thames, the Wye, Hampshire Avon, with a go-to barbel bait. This actually was developed from the original barbel mix and barbel search for flavours. So there's a reason for all my base mixes and flavours. And I mentioned earlier on when I did the demo in part 1 of this 3-clip series, a flavour called ASM. Here it is, ASM, Alice Solar and Musk Spice. That is the derivative from the original barbel search for flavour. So all those people out there who are thinking, oh, where's search for flavour? You can almost make it perfectly yourself by mixing ASM, which I demonstrated in the first clip, and roast chicken. That's 3 flavours in one, but you only need to buy 2. They are still available in the pick and mix, the little mini bottles. Here they are, these little beauties here, and there's 8ml in here, and that's enough for quite a lot of bait. So if you don't want to invest in a 100ml bottle, and in some of these bottles there's enough for 80 or 90 kilos of bait, and most of these bottles will last well over 2 years if they're kept cool and dark. So here again, there's a lot of information to come. I've given you the background of the 2 mixes. I want you to go and catch. I want you to try making your own bait for the first time. I would love you to take back control and enjoy going fishing as opposed to just going camping. And that's an old school guy talking. Somebody who used to force himself to stay awake in order to catch that last bite with a bobbin shot up to the butt ring. And if we go back to our roots of fishing, and you take a good long look at these last 3 clips that I've done, which are my last, well, my first little triple video clip set, which are all going to go on YouTube for a good 5 or 6 months, I think and I hope that it will help. And so I can look directly at you guys and say, thank you for your support. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Send me an email and make it as brief as possible, and I'll answer your questions. It's all here. We're ready to make. I do custom flavour mixes, and I do custom base mixes. But there has to be a good reason for it, and I will do it for you. And I'll work with you to help you improve your catch rate and be different on your favourite water. So thanks for your support. See you soon.